Right, everybody. Good morning once again, or good middle of the day now. It's right around noon. This beautiful, slightly overcast day right here in downtown Long Beach, where today we are going to take a short, quick walk on the promenade. Southbound. We're going to check this really neat walk. I kind of never knew was there, and I walked through it yesterday and said, you know what, I gotta come back and film this. You can call it a little romantic walkway or hanging garden type walkway, or maybe it's just a shortcut or whatever it is. It's off the main road. You can't see it off the main road, but when you go walking through the buildings and Long Beach Convention Center and stuff like that, it does become apparent. And that's where we're going right now. But in addition to that, you've all heard of the Battle of Los Angeles back in 1942, I think it was. Japanese had attacked Pearl Harbor. World War II was on. They had guns on all the buildings, everywhere you can think of right here in the Los Angeles area, expecting to fight off the Japanese invasion that never came. And one night something set it off, and all the guns just lit up into the sky, and searchlights and sirens, and they never knew what set it off. But it looked like a scene. It wasn't captured on film, unfortunately, but it looked like a scene out of Desert Storm, when the United States forces first started attacking downtown Baghdad, and all those guns are just firing up into the night sky, all the tracer rounds and stuff. That's what it must have looked like for the Battle of Los Angeles back in 1942, I believe it was. How it ties into this story is this way. I've always heard that there were two old buildings still standing today on Ocean Boulevard that had anti-aircraft gun emplacements on top of them. I've never been able to find those two buildings. I found one of them yesterday, and we'll check that out too. Anyways, let's go for a walk. Thank you for joining me right here on the Florentino Rebuilding Company YouTube channel, your outpost on the West Coast, out here in sunny, not so sunny Southern California. Let's take that nice little cool, this is going to be a little cool romantic walk where you probably want to come down here in the early evening with your honey, your main squeeze, your wife, your partner, and just take the nice little short walk, go have a couple of drinks, and enjoy the beautiful Long Beach ocean evening. We're at the most southern part of the promenade walkway, right kind of where it ends at Ocean Boulevard. So promenade, the little walkway kind of ends right here on Ocean Boulevard. Ocean Boulevard runs east to west, left to right on your screen or monitor. Okay, so we're going to cross the street here. We're going to cross Ocean right where you see in the center of your screen. We're going to walk behind that building. We're going to come across that hanging garden or flowery secret garden walkway, romantic walkway, whatever you call it, and it runs actually behind these buildings here. It's not very long, but it's very cool and interesting, and it takes you to the Long Beach Convention Center, or it's like an auditorium part of the convention center, which would be right behind these buildings there. I actually graduated from high school. That's where our high school would have its high school ceremonies way back when. And we'll come out from the back there. The convention center, the auditorium part will be visible. I'll film that for you guys. It's kind of really pretty. They got some real nice water fountains there in the front. We'll end the video from that part of our journey. But we'll start it from this part over here. We'll be right back. We won't catch us tonight. We will be back right after this. Let's go ahead southbound, probably about 500 feet, and it'll be to our left. And a point of reference, that's the old Breakers Hotel right there. But we're going where these people are going. Now, this is a very common, well-known, well-used, well-traveled lunchtime walk pathway area for the workers, office workers, people working the location, people who live nearby, including myself. Excuse me. Okay, so we are here. That's our pathway. We're going to go down that pathway right now, but we're going to set up right here in front of the Long Beach Convention Center, the actual event center, big building. Massive building. Incidentally, during the beginning of the Biden presidency, when all sorts of undocumented kids came across the border with unaccompanied, this was a convention center where they held those kids for quite some time to be able to place them and fly them out of here in charter planes. But let me set up. Okay, so we're right here. The rear portion of these buildings that you would see when you drive down Ocean Boulevard. The Breakers Hotel is we're going to concentrate our attention to right there in the dead center of your screen. So during the Battle of Los Angeles, Long Beach had two main, I'm sure they had a whole bunch of little ones everywhere, but Long Beach had two main anti-aircraft batteries stationed and installed on top of private buildings here in downtown Long Beach. I heard that there's two of the buildings are still around. I haven't been able to locate the second one. I have an idea, and it's to my left. I don't want to give that away. But yesterday, when I was going to take this little walk here, I discovered the first one. And it's right there. It's as plain as day, and you would never known unless you get off of the beaten path. Right there, dead ahead. Now, anti-aircraft batteries would be painted upwards. This looks more like it's some sort of concrete. I'm trying to put my finger on the screen, but it doesn't work. That looks like some sort of concrete observation post or sighting post. And you probably had men with binoculars and a radio and a telephone and their coordinates on maps and stuff, where they can tell the actual guns where to point. That right there, it looks like it was built into the existing structure, the tower there, and that's all solid concrete, and it would have been solid concrete for any type of anti-aircraft or observation installation, especially perched real high up in the air like this one is. So there you go. That's probably where you had maybe a couple men with machine guns, but mostly that would have been an observation post. But where the actual guns were, they probably were installed right there on that rooftop, whole battery of them. And maybe one day we'll talk to someone who runs that building. We could get access to go up there and check that out. But I finally found downtown Long Beach anti-aircraft gun emplacement #1 after searching all these years. All right, let's go ahead on over to the walkway. Incidentally, that's building #2. That's the one I suspect, or I've always heard, or I've heard may have been the one that had the second anti-aircraft emplacement on its rooftop. I haven't been able to locate or see any physical features of where that may have happened, but we'll keep poking around, and hopefully before I retire, we'll get you guys a view of the second anti-aircraft emplacement. And ones that were probably used and probably fired off rounds into the sky during the 1942, I believe it was, battle for Los Angeles. Okay, if this road down below looks familiar, it's because it is. When Long Beach has its annual Downtown Long Beach Grand Prix, this is what comes out on the news. They'll set up TV cameras up here. You'll see the cars coming out from underneath that bridge, that overpass, running down this way underneath us. Actually, you could see painting stripes, red stripes along the edge where the concrete barriers come up against. And right off there in the distance on that curb, you can see the green and white painted canards where the car, see that white car, if that was a Grand Prix car, it would have made a right-hand turn and went down that way. It's a real cool little quick walkway. Just enjoy. We'll stop talking. So this place gets lit up at night. All those are lights and stuff. So pretty much that's it. Just a cool little quick, pretty, off the beaten path surprise. If you guys like to walk the downtown Long Beach area on your lunch break or come here in the evening with your honey bunny, it's an example of what can be found here. Now, I graduated from this Long Beach Terrace Theater or Amphitheater or whatever you want to call it back in the mid 80s from high school. Our high school used to have its high school graduations down here. Now I'm going to be retiring from this area. There's a picture my mom has of one of my best friends from high school, Pedro Alcaraz. And we brought him over. His parents couldn't bring him over. He came with us, and my mom took a picture of him. None of this stuff was here. This was all open. He leaned against that concrete post there, and with his, I still see him now, with his cool curly hair and his tan blazer, and he's smiling. My mom took his picture, and in the background there was nothing, just blue sky, and you could see the cranes for the infant, the barely starting out intermodal container yards that were just off in the distance there, about half a mile. And we got a picture of Pedro right there back in 1985. Long Beach Auditorium or the Pacific Ballroom. I commented on someone's YouTube channel yesterday about the band Styx coming to play in this auditorium in Long Beach back in 1979 during the Cornerstone tour. I commented on there that there was a big article about that in the LA Times out here at the time. Styx, the band Styx came in with their own private commercial jetliner, and there's a tunnel underneath this, and the performers get off, go upstairs to their dressing rooms, and they go upstairs to the stage in the arena. And that's what Styx did. All the members came in one by one in their own separate limousines, and then after the show they jumped on their private commercial plane and headed due east, straight that way, because their next show was, I think, in Phoenix or Tucson. I think it was Tucson. So they just flew in a straight line low across the desert, just right where my camera's pointing. Many years ago, back in 1979. So as we're setting up for this shot, I noticed something interesting, and I've always known it's been here. I just said, let me capture it on videotape for you guys real quick. We're at the end of the tape. I was about to sign off, but let me give you guys this. So right behind, this is Long Beach Boulevard. It runs north and south. This will run pretty much getting real close to downtown LA, and it ends here at the ocean. Pacific Ocean is to my back. You see this bank building right here? You see how it sits on the corner, but it's not like a box or a square where there's a corner edge to it. There's kind of like a flat edge there that's pushed back, kind of almost like a curve, if you could make a curve with straight lines. The reason that is because the Pacific Electric trolleys, the red cars, specifically the blimps, Pacific Electric red cars, but the big red cars, the blimps, what they call the blimps, excuse me, would run down from downtown LA in the middle of Pacific Avenue. They would make their turn, kind of like right behind where that bus is. They'd make their turn where the current sidewalk is, leaning up against that building there, and then they would head due west down Ocean Boulevard and make a return trip. Hey, shut up, Crow. Anyways, that's why that building is shaped there, and that's where the Pacific Electric would make its right-hand turn, head westbound, as it made another right-hand turn and started heading northbound back to LA along Long Beach Boulevard. We'll cover that another day. There's a noisy crow that makes a lot of noise for our camera. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining me once again on the Florentino Rebuilding Company YouTube channel, your outpost here on the West Coast in sunny Southern California. Me and the Crow welcome you. Stick around, and for the next interesting video, whatever that is going to happen to be, we don't know. We just stumble upon these things as we explore the world all around us. All right, you all take care, but most importantly, you all have an amazing and a blessed rest of your week. You all take care. Bye.